Hello guys and gals and welcome! Welcome to another episode of Unique Items. So in Diablo 1 there is another axe, there's tons of axes, and this one's actually kind of okay useful, although not really the most amazing. This one is a large axe at 6 to 16, and it's called the Wicked Axe. And we're going to talk about the Wicked Axe here. Now, the Wicked Axe has some interesting stats on it. It also has some negatives as well. The first thing is chance to hit 30%, which again still is pretty low. Last one we had 15% to hit chance, so I guess it's double that one, I guess at the very least, which is something. It also has plus 10 to dexterity, which does in fact increase your to hit chance a little bit more. So if you put this axe on, you will go from 75 to 110% to hit, which is actually pretty good for early levels. The other thing about this axe is that, well, it does have a negative 10 to vitality, which is going to lower your HP by quite a bit, which is rather unfortunate. However, it does also have a very interesting effect known as negative 6 damage from enemies, which is basically just flat damage reduction. Now, flat damage reduction is not technically better than just not getting hit in general. Trust me, in this game, you just don't want to get hit. That's the easiest way to avoid damage, is just not getting hit. And the negative 6 damage from enemies only really applies to physical damage as far as I'm aware. It's kind of like PDR in Diablo 1, or Diablo 2, so it's like physical damage reduced flat. And it is actually really nice for staying alive. It's not the best axe in the game, by far. There are way better two-handed axes than this, but as an option for a two-handed weapon that offers you a little bit of tankability, it's one of the few two-handed axes that comes with a modifier like negative 6 damage from enemies. And if you stack it together with, say, other negative damage from enemies like on a helmet or an armor, you can potentially get enough physical damage reduction to make most physical damage attacks do relatively zero. Now, the main problem with this, however, is that since it doesn't apply to magical damage, well, it's not really going to help you versus those, like, giant hordes of, like, harpies and succubis and things like that that are just going to make your life a living hell as a melee character, which, trust me, they do. Indestructible is also really nice because you don't have to worry about it breaking. In my experience with this particular piece of equipment, I've very often found a better item relatively quickly, even as a two-handed player. Now, I often kept it, though, because I would die a lot as a two-handed player, and having a negative 6 damage from enemies could often be make or break to go get my body back. When you die in this game, you drop all your items on the ground, which kind of sucks. And so you have to actually go back and get your bodies. So having a backup axe on hand, which is tanky, which can get you through a tough situation to recover your equipment, is actually really good. And that's pretty much the only thing I really recommend using this axe for, is like if you need a, like just a tanky axe, two-handed axe to help you get your body back, this is definitely going to be one. You could use it early on until you find a better weapon, but you will eventually find a better weapon, at which point you're probably just going to sell this one or whatever. If you're playing Devolution X, you can always throw it in the stash and then, pull it out when you need it during those crucial times where you die and lose all your equipment. But if you're trying to go for tanky, I hate to say it, but the shield's better, right? So like in general, if you're in a situation like that where you need to be tanky, your shield is pretty much always going to be better than this. This is just a tanky two-handed option. It's not better than a one-handed sword and a shield. One-handed sword and shield is pretty much always going to be a better option than the Wicked Axe. And that's pretty much it for this particular axe. It's a halfway decent little unique item. It's not better than most of the weapons that you're going to get in the game. It doesn't have any enhanced damage on it, and it has very little enhanced accuracy or to hit chance comparatively to other items, which can be upwards of like 150%. For instance, I have a strange sword here with 144%. And that's a hell of a lot more. But you can see if I put this on, look at my to hit chance, 219% comparatively to 110 with a base of 75. So I go from 75 to 219 with just a 144%. Whereas with this one, it only has the little baby numbers. It's got like the 30% chance to hit, and then it has a little bit of dexterity. The dexterity helps out a little bit, but I still only go up to 110, which is honestly not enough to really hit most monsters in the game toward higher levels. Which means you're gonna, if you do want to use this axe, you're going to need plus 2 hit jewelry and amulets, rings, things like that are probably going to help you hit that 2-hit percentage. Unlike in Diablo 2, where you can have like 8,000 attack rating and still have a pretty decent chance to hit stuff. Like in this game, if you don't have enough attack rating, it's like 90% miss. It's just miss. So unfortunately, in this game, it really comes down to, do you have enough attack rating? Yes, no. And if you don't have enough attack rating, well then good luck hitting anything, because it's probably going to be next to impossible. Which is why armor class is so important in this game, because if your armor class is high enough, you can also do the same thing to the monsters, and the monsters have a hard time hitting you, just like you have a hard time hitting them. So getting your armor class up high enough is going to be very important, especially with like a two-handed weapon. If you're using a two-handed weapon in general, like you're going to need high armor class, because you're foregoing the shield, which is one of your main defensive functions, and armor class is going to be huge. The -6 damage from enemies helps, but once you get later in the game, you're going to need a lot of flat damage reduction to counteract the damage that you're taking in, and it's -6 is not enough. And the fact that it only applies to physical damage, unfortunately, does make this mediocre. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals joining me for these videos. Be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button if you enjoy the content, as this is my full-time job, and I definitely appreciate any support you're willing to give. And as always, keep watching.